Judging by the box office, a lot of you saw Thor: The Dark World over the weekend, and since this is Marvel Studios movie number 8, I'm guessing most of you knew to stay through the ending credits for your customary bonus scenes. The post-to mid-credits stinger has become the Marvel movie signature in much the same way that a drab, washed-out palette and a complete lack of understanding of the characters is for DC movies. You'd be surprised if it wasn't there. They are also a great way for the studio to drop in more obscure shoutouts it relies on to create fan-generated free publicity between movies without cluttering up too much of an actual film doing so. Having Captain America show up for a cameo is one thing, everybody knows who that is, but anything more out of left field than that is better left where only the devoted fans know to look for it, and Thor: The Dark World opted to use its space to introduce one of the most out-of-left-field bits of business yet. In the final scene in question, full-time Thor besties Lady Sif and Volstagg the Voluminous turn up in what looks like a Tatooine pawn shop to drop off Malekith's superweapon, the Aether, for safekeeping, with Benicio del Toro as some kind of hybrid composite of Ruby Rod, Truman Capote, and Mugatu, or as he's introduced by a sexy pink alien chick, Tenelier Tivan the Collector.
Comics are weird!
Okay, quick context. Whereas the DC Comics universe tends to section itself up into families of major heroes and their attendant allies and enemies, the Marvel universe draws its blurry, jagged borders more based on specialization. You got your street-level guys, your government, military, shield-associated big guns, your mutants, and then your cosmic characters, which in Marvel encompasses both alien, super scientific, and magical fantasy material because a lot of the framework of the Marvel cosmology was based on concepts from Jack Kirby and expanded on by Jim Starlin, both of whom were big fans of the Chariots of the Gods, Ancient Astronauts theory. The idea that earlier civilization stories of gods, monsters, and magic were actually true accounts of encounters with incomprehensibly advanced alien beings. To wit, the Collector is a member of the Elders of the Universe, a loosely affiliated group of alien beings, each of whom is the last surviving member of various races who were among the first sentient beings in the universe, and each of whom possesses a superhuman bordering on magical abilities derived from the Power Primordial, a latent cosmic force comprised of leftover energy from the Big Bang. Other Elders include, but are not limited to, the Grandmaster, the Obliterator, the Champion of the Universe, the Possessor, the Contemplator, Ego, the Living Planet, and the Gardener. Yes, the Gardener. Guess what he does? But not the Watcher, because there's more than one of him. See, the main reason that
comics are weird
in this particular way is that neither Marvel or DC started out with a plan for any of this stuff. They were just making up crazy stuff for their heroes to fight week to week, and then started sorting all of it out into canon and hierarchy later on. Collector, for example, was just an attempt to find a new excuse for a villain to kidnap the good guys. Champion of the Universe is just an alien pro wrestler who exists to start big fighting tournaments. Anyway, the Elders are all functionally immortal to the point of being able to breathe in outer space, but they can cease to exist if they lose the will to keep existing. As such, they tend to be really obsessed with their various hobbies. And Tivan the Collector collects things. So actually, even though he's technically showing up at the end of The Dark World to tease his participation in Marvel's big 2014 Star Wars and/or Fifth Element-esque space movie Guardians of the Galaxy, he makes a lot of sense as a movie character. Someone has to hold on to all the random crap these guys keep finding, and you don't want to have to meet Anthony Hopkins' quote every time you need a scene of someone going to Odin's vault. The Collector's scene, in fact, was actually directed by Guardians director James Gunn, late of Super, Slither, and Lollipop Chainsaw, and if this scene is any indication of what's to come, this movie's gonna be pretty nuts. But it's actually what he and Sif and Volstagg say about the Aether that seems like a bigger long-term deal. Earlier in the movie, Odin explains that the Aether is the only liquid form entity among various powerful cosmic elements that usually take the form of stones, so it's evil Mercury, I guess. At the end, when the Collector asks the Asgardians why they don't just use their own damn vault, they explain that they're still holding on to the Tesseract, the glowy cube thing from Captain America and the Avengers, and that it's a bad idea to keep two Infinity Stones together. Oh my. Okay, remember the mysterious giant purple dude who turned out to be pulling Loki's strings in the post-credit scene of The Avengers? Okay, his name is actually Thanos the Mad Titan. He's an alien conqueror, and he's really bad news. In the comics, his deal is that he's in love, like romantically in love, with death, as in the actual cosmic entity representing the absence of life in semi-corporeal form. He wants to murder most of the known universe in order to prove his devotion to her. Yeah, and you thought paying extra for the chocolate-dipped strawberries on that fruit bouquet was going all out for Valentine's Day. To accomplish this goal, Thanos is eternally in search of 6 ancient relics called the Infinity Gems, which, like any good magical treasure hunt token, represent specific powers and come color-coded. The Soul Gem is green, time is orange, space is purple, mind is blue, reality is yellow, and power is red. If Thanos can collect them all and affix them to an armored glove he calls the Infinity Gauntlet, a presumably empty version of which has already been glimpsed inside Odin's vault in the original Thor, he would effectively become god of the universe, and that would be bad. I'd actually been assuming that the thing in Loki's staff from the Avengers was supposed to be the Mind Gem, or I guess we're calling them stones for the movies now. but it seems like the film's plan is to stretch the definition of stones in order to tie cosmic plot point from the various movies back onto the overarching Thanos side story, which will apparently get more fleshed out in Guardians and then pay off in Avengers 3, which leaves plenty of room to spread the remaining stones out amongst the interstitial movies. Maybe one of them will show up in Avengers 2, or Captain America the Winter Soldier, or on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or in Ant-Man, or on those Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage TV series they're doing for Netflix. Yeah, that's a thing now too. If nothing major happens between now and then, maybe we'll go over those next week. Until then, yeah, that's who that was. So now you know. I'm Bob, and that's the big picture.